Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak to Senate Bill 872. Colleagues, we all ran for office so that we could make a difference for people in our communities, to lift up the voices from our neighborhoods and to change lives. We said that we would come here and get things done and work across the aisle while fighting for our values. Today, we are doing just that. I believe that we are taking critically important steps to address sexual assault and childhood sexual abuse. And the legislation that we pass today will make a difference in the lives of countless Michiganders for years to come. We set out in the beginning to work on three principles: protecting survivors, increasing accountability, and preventing sexual assault. Throughout this process, like many of you, I have been so inspired by the strength, the conviction, and the grace of the survivors. The Nassar survivors and every other survivor who has courageously shared their story. Without each of them insisting that their voices be heard, we would not have such a comprehensive set of bills before us today. I am proud of the truly bipartisan work that has been done over the past several months from representatives in this chamber. Several of us read hundreds of pages of documents from MSU. We sent a long list of questions and thoroughly examined the responses. Some colleagues and I and staff had numerous collaborative, truly bipartisan meetings to develop legislation, and we worked through changes, addressed issues, and came up with solutions together. We had 12 committee hearings where we heard testimony from survivors, from stakeholders, from experts and practitioners, the people who do this work every day. We asked important questions, and we engaged in real dialogue in committee, on the House floor, in meetings, during drive time, with each other, and with the stakeholders about some really challenging issues. Thank you to the chair of the Committee on Law and Justice for our partnership and working on this issue and doing the best we can for those that we serve. And I want to thank all the committee members for all of our dialogue, debate, and most importantly, our commitment to making good public policy. Also, I want to thank Coffee and Hawthorne, Hassan Beydoun, Bill Stone, Brandon Lanyon, Ellen Heinitz, and Lori Day. These brilliant staff members are some of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life, and I am grateful to have worked alongside them over the past few months. I also want to thank the senator from the 20th District for her tenacity and her commitment to survivors, as well as the senator from the 5th District for introducing and advocating for this bill. As we get closer to making these policies a reality, I know in my heart and my mind that we are doing the right thing to prevent sexual assault, protect survivors, and hold perpetrators accountable. Our work here is about changing the culture through policy to prevent sexual assault. And it is about supporting, valuing, and listening to survivors. And it is about bipartisan policy solutions that will make a difference for women, men, and children across our state. Senate Bill 872 addresses the civil statute of limitations for criminal sexual conduct. Through our committee work, we have sought out a solution that balances access, the need for accuracy, fairness, and justice in our legal system for survivors and defendants. I want to stress three things about the bill before us. First, we have added clear language that helps survivors and acknowledges the psychological impact and delay in disclosure of abuse, which has been the subject of much conversation in our committee. By extending the statute of limitations for all victims, and also adding a provision allowing young survivors to file a claim within 3 years after she or he discovered that an injury was caused by his or her sexual abuse experienced as a child, we are coming in line with numerous states that already have a similar provision. We have listened to survivors, to child abuse experts, social workers, and the leading sexual assault organizations in our state. We have heard testimony from survivors and advocacy groups about the very long time that is needed for many survivors before they can disclose their assault, process the trauma that they have experienced, make the connection between their assault and their injury, and choose to take civil action. To the survivors, we know it may take years for you to grapple with the pain and trauma, and this is real. We want to give you the access you need to the civil justice system to address the emotional and physical pain that you have suffered, and this discovery provision does just that. Second, our nation's legal system must be balanced. It must be fair, accurate, and accessible in order to provide justice. This bill balances multiple goals: holding perpetrators accountable, giving survivors better access to file claims, addressing concerns raised regarding fading memories and evidence, and ensuring that we have accurate results in our legal system. Third, I am proud that we reached this policy solution through bipartisan compromise, the involvement of numerous stakeholders, and an enormous amount of research and debate. The current civil statute of limitations is only 3 years, and nothing has changed on this issue since the 1980s. This is unacceptable. Senate Bill 872 will help hundreds of survivors retroactively and also countless survivors moving forward. As the Michigan Coalition to End Domestic and Sexual Violence stated, this change is essential to remedy a substantial procedural lock on the door to justice for victims of sexual assault. As we vote on this bill, I urge you to think about the survivors that, because of this bill, will gain access to the justice system that they do not currently have. Send a clear message that you support survivors and the significant changes that they have asked the legislature for over many years, going back at least to 1997 when our very own clerk introduced a bill on this issue. Colleagues, I ask for your support on Senate Bill 872. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.